Mainly the median nerve, ulnar nerve, radial nerve are very important for Mrcp part 1 and part 2 exam. Okay. If any compression occurs on the median nerve, it is called the carpal tunnel syndrome. Patient will tell you that he is feeling like a pins and needles sensation over this area, lateral 3.5 finger. Anatomy, you need to learn certain things, but important one is the nerves. Mainly the median nerve, ulnar nerve, radial nerve are very important for Mrcp part 1 and part 2 exam. Okay. And because these nerves supply to our hands mainly, so today I am starting with the nerves of hands, mainly median nerve, radial nerve and the ulnar nerve. So mainly the median nerve supply the 3.5 of the finger on the palmar aspect, okay, and the ulnar nerve supply the fourth half and the fifth full finger on the palmar aspect, also the dorsal aspect, and the radial nerve actually supplies the 3.5 fingers of the dorsal aspect. And mainly this is called the anatomical snap box. This portion, anatomical snap box, between the index finger and the thumb, this is the anatomical snap box, and this is also supplied by the radial nerve. Nerves, mainly the median nerve, radial nerve and nerves of hands. So median nerve, okay, first the median nerve supply the lateral 3.5 fingers so lateral 3.5 fingers on palmar aspect. This is the median nerve, okay, and the ulnar nerve actually supplies medial 1.5 finger on palmar and dorsal aspect. And the radial nerve supply lateral 3.5 fingers on dorsal aspect, and mainly the anatomical snap box. Okay, this is the mainly basic of the nerves of the hand. So today I am starting with my first topic, that is the carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay. So carpal tunnel syndrome mainly if the compression on median nerve on carpal tunnel. Okay. and so mainly the median nerve, if any compression occurs on the median nerve, it is called the carpal tunnel syndrome. So carpal tunnel syndrome, the sign symptoms mainly, what is the sign symptoms? Mainly the pins and needle sensation. Pins and needle sensation over lateral 3.5 fingers on palmar aspect. Okay, this is the important one. And in case of the carpal tunnel syndrome, mainly the diagnosis is clinical, mostly the clinical. Patient will tell you that he is feeling like a pins and needle sensation over this area, lateral 3.5 finger, and so the diagnosis is mostly the clinical, and you need to do some examination, like one is Tinel sign and another one is Phelan sign. Okay, one is Tinel sign and one is Phelan sign. So what is Tinel sign? When you can write here the tapping, mainly tapping, and here the flexion. Okay, when you tap over this area, the patient will feel the pins and needle sensation. This is the Tinel sign, and this is the Tinel sign is positive. And Phelan sign, what is Phelan sign? That is flexion. When you ask the patient to flex the wrist, then he will feel the pins and needle sensation over this area. So you can remember by Tinel, tapping, Phelan's, flexion. Okay, and in the investigation, the nerve conduction study, what will be the result? There will be the prolongation